Hi everyone, it's Lisa and welcome to Make It Monday. Today is week 18 in my series on techniques. Thank you for joining me. You might want to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of the upcoming series. Today I'm going to be teaching you a technique called Starburst. I'd like to give a shout out to France Martin for teaching me how to do this. Let's get started in showing you how to create the Sunburst pattern. The first thing you're going to need is some designer series paper. Today I'm using Modern Medley. You're going to need to cut a piece of designer paper 4 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. And each strip is going to give you 2 pieces inside the Sunburst. So this piece and this piece were actually one of these strips at one time. So if you want 6 pieces, you'll need to cut 3. If you want 10 pieces, you'll need to cut 5, and so on. Now, let me show you how you cut this diagonally. Very simple with your paper trimmer. You're going to be cutting inside this track, which is the grooved area inside the Stampin' Trimmer. Okay? Once each tip is in the track, you're going to close the arm, press down, and then slide your blade. And it's going to cut it into 2 equal pieces for you. The next thing you're going to need is a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. I'm using Very Vanilla. You're going to end up trimming this if you want to double layer it on your card. And then your strips. Now here I've cut quite an array of different patterns because they're all black and vanilla. You're going to need temporary adhesive for this. You can use snail adhesive if you're really good at placement, but I'm not. So I'm using the old retired Dotto. I'm going to pick this pattern to be my first one. So on the back, I am going to put some adhesive. And I'm actually going to start in the middle. I have found that starting in the middle makes my life a lot easier. Working on the grid paper as well helps a lot because I can make sure that my paper is straight. So I'm going to start with this piece right here. And the tip is going to be where you're going to make the connection of the bottom piece of paper to hide your imperfection. So I'm going to start by putting this piece right about here. And now I'm going to start to build this to create my Sunburst. Now in this sample you can see that I've ended here to create a small rectangle at the bottom to finish off this area so that it's not noticeable. But on this sample you're going to see that I went straight down to repeat the pattern, so it went all the way down to the bottom of my card. So if I was going to do that again, now is where I would implement this area. And of course that would give me a small box here for a greeting. Now if you don't want to do that, you can just keep going. So I'm going to add another piece here. Now you can see the Starburst across my cardstock. This was 5 rectangles cut in half, so there's 10 panels. Now I'm going to carefully lift this and I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to burnish the back to make sure that it's good and stuck. And then you can use your paper trimmer, but I like to use my scissors. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut off what I don't need. And I'm following the edge of the cardstock as my guide. Now there may be some areas where the adhesive didn't stick all the way, so I'm just going to go back. Especially with temporary adhesive, it makes it really easy to go back and just pull this up and provide more adhesive around those edges to make sure it's good and stuck. Once you have it down the way you want it, turn it over and burnish it again. Now this is where I would add the panel across the bottom like I've done here, or a ribbon or a strip of coordinating designer paper, and then add an embellishment or a greeting. So this is called Sunburst, and that's this week's technique. I look forward to seeing you next week for Make It Monday.